What do you think are the main challenges?
Made a difference in
What does it mean?
very important.
150 years of humanitarian action. What sort of vulnerable communities are we talking about, and what are you doing for them?
We're talking about people who are, in the northern part of Kenya, who have for the longest been pastoralists or marginal agriculturists with very little yield from their land. For example, in one of our project sites, where we turned about 3,000 acres into very fertile irrigated land, all we needed was to provide the farmers with machines to pump the water from the river Tana. We also provided them with the know-how with agricultural extension officers, so that agriculture becomes a skill that they can practice and they see the fruits from there. This turned a community that had been for 10 years net food recipients, relief food recipients, into a community that was selling food. They have their dignity back.
So just through very simple things like providing an irrigation pump, you can really reverse people's fortunes so that they're no longer dependent on food aid, but they're actually providing food for their community.
Completely, and we have done that in 24 project sites in Kenya. We can't talk about empowerment without talking about investments in these communities. We must invest in manners that are relevant to them and in manners that address their long-term problems.
How important then is the role of the volunteers in investing in these communities?
Well, the volunteers are part of these communities, and in terms of, in a way of trying to understand the communities, first and foremost, they play a critical role, because we are able to have very intimate conversation with people who are part of the community and also part of the Red Cross. So even after we finish the projects and we leave, the Red Cross is still there because our volunteers are there.
How important is it that it's Kenyans helping Kenyans?
Well, this is a good shift. What we have done is we have now started to make sure that for every disaster, we tell Kenyans what is going on. We have seen Kenyan corporates who partnered with us in Kenyans for Kenya, very active in this endeavor. We were able to raise $10 million in 2 months from Kenya alone, with Kenyan corporates, using Kenyan media, and that was money that could be used immediately, without bureaucratic issues of the aid chain.
It's a massive project that you've got, empowering Kenyans. There must be some difficulties, though, along the way.
People are always, in the first place, are doubtful. So, I think in Kenya what we have done, they're doubtful about, you've collected all this amount of money. Are you really doing what you said you are going to do? So we have, as much as possible, tried to be as transparent and accountable, making sure that all the information related to how the money is spent is in the public realm.
Empowerment is really at the heart of your strategy at the Kenyan Red Cross. What lessons do you think you have for other Red Cross national societies?
We have found that as we work these communities from abject poverty, from very vulnerable situations, there's more work in health, there's more work in water and sanitation, because they still have not reached the threshold for development. The other lesson that we have learned is that government is willing to listen, but they will only listen if you have the results. They listen to us not as activists, but as people with a special relationship with them.